Ironwood Games. This is Andrew.
And this is Marcus.
And we are back in Riven to continue our adventure. Do you remember where we were last time, Marcus?
Well, yes, I do, Andrew. You had inputted some things when it comes to creatures and sounds, and we found this cool portal book that was something we dealt a lot with in the first game. Not so much in this game, but looks like this is a cool throwback to progress.
This is our first linking book in this game, huh?
Besides the first one that brought us here.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's go in and see what happens. It's interesting because it's kind of like this burnt book and like pieced together, right? So let's see where this journey takes us.
The Yggdrasil. The life tree.
Something like that. So, for those that don't know or those playing at home, like Marcus, this is actually the image. This tree is the image that was on the packaging for the game.
Oh.
So it's also very interesting in that it's 3/4 of the way through the game before we actually figure out what that packaging image was all about, and it appears to be this secret rebel location. So let's link in and see where we can go. I think this is the image actually that's on the cover. I was just looking at it here. But we can't go across the water to look at the tree.
Oh, it just puts us here. It doesn't do the cool, like, soaring through kind of thing like the other games did.
No, because it did it in the video preview instead of doing it, in the transition. So let's see. We can't go across the water, so let's turn around. Ooh, we got a bridge. And oh, there's another book in front of us. Uh-oh.
Oh my god, that kind of scared the crap out of me.
I don't think they like us here.
Oh, just shot up my spine. Holy crap. Did we lose? Is that what happened?
Hashtag jump scares. Sorry.
Are they going to carry us across the lake for us?
I think so. So it's kind of their security, right? Like you get teleported into like a little secure room, and then they can verify that you're a good person before they take you over to the main place.
By shooting us with a blow dart?
Well, because we're not one of them, we didn't know the secret password, so.
Oh.
I'm sure if we knew the secret password or hand signal or something, they wouldn't have blow darted us. Alright, and now the blow dart has worn off. We are conscious again, and we are in a little room here. So which way do you want to go?
Let's look at the bowl.
It's an empty bowl.
Take bowl.
Yes. So it looks like this door is locked to us, but we can look outside and see more people, or a person. So let's go the other way and see what's through here. Okay, this is just a window, and that down there looks like the little cave that we teleported into. So we must be on the exterior side of this tree. Is there anywhere else to go? Doesn't look like it. Let's try to go back to the door.
Look at the bowl again.
looks like we got into a cutscene here.
Katrina e now da saya palo. Yapa ay manay yalepo.
And the nice lady's telling us something.
Tisay. Bekaretere wirape yelo kene falapo. Tisay. Why te fulupe?
And leaves a couple of books for us.
You gotta take your dishes with you, lady. You can't just leave them out. That's rude.
So if we look, we'll see. We'll pick up these books. One of these books is that the one that we started with? This is the one that Atris gave us that was stolen at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
That's the trap book. Looks like it takes you to Dunny, but it doesn't. And then this is a new secret journal.
Written horizontally.
Yeah, it's cool that way. It kind of talks about the rebellion and how it got started and how it's kind of taken hold. And then in here is the little secret letter that we're going to read. It says, I write quickly from my prison. Nella will return your book, which the moiety intercepted upon your arrival. After questioning her, I've concluded that it was written by Atris for a very specific purpose. Gehn will desire to use it, although he may have suspicions. If you can find my prison, you will still need the combination to release me. Gehn keeps it in his office. Then, I assume, we're to signal Atris. I think I know how it might be done. But don't signal him before I am released. Catherine. So, if we read through the whole book and we kind of put all those pieces together, we see that Catherine came back to Riven, and the Rivenese kind of rebellion kind of put her in as a figurehead, and that's when Gehn captured her and locked her up to keep her from overthrowing him. And then it talks more about the moiety, which are the rebel society, and how they've moved to this new location as Riven is dying. You can see the nice iconography here, and then somewhere, if we read through all of this, there is, I believe, another code we need. So we see some maps and things that could have been useful early on. These are the tram connections between the islands. We've been all over these places, though. This we've seen. Do you remember when we saw this, Marcus?
That looks like when we were in the submarine, and we had to use that to shift lanes. This is what it looks like to me.
Oh, no. It's from way before. It's actually all the way at the beginning of the very game. It's one of the first things we come across
Oh,
back on Temple
yeah.
Island.
Okay, yeah. That was like one of the things we could explore and interact with, but we had like
Yeah.
no. Yeah,
We
okay,
didn't know what
yeah.
to do with it. Yeah, it's actually that's actually how we're going to signal Atris at the end. She talks about here kind of how to make a signal that Atris could see. Here we go. This is the code that we need. And you remember your numbers, so you can tell us what this code is, right?
555
5555555. No, if I'm recalling correctly, it's 33423.
Yeah,
So
I
we're
don't
going to write
remember
that
whatever
down.
codex we had.
Sorry?
I said I don't remember when we got a codex or where the codex was. It showed what the numbers were. I don't know if that was in the school or not.
It was in the school, and I put it up. It was in the last video I put it up.
Like the one that we did like a week ago?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. It's been a long week.
I know. Well, and you didn't see all the things because I put it up, so if other people have been watching, they'll have seen it.
Perfect.
But yeah, the K here is, I call this the K, it's the 3, and this box is the 4, and this D is the 2. So 3, 3, 4, 2, 3. Again, to use with that device later on. But as Catherine said in her little secret letter there, we should not activate the device and signal Atris until we've freed her. So we need to free Catherine. That's our...
Does it say where she's at?
Well, she's in the prison.
Like us?
No, she's in the prison island on Riven. Remember we saw her in the viewfinder underwater?
Oh, okay.
Sirapo. Ibuko mobuko wisipo.
Oh yeah, the nice lady's back.
Navere.
With more books.
With more books.
Now, Katerina.
I don't know if you speak Rivenese, but I don't. So I can't really tell you what she's saying. Other than probably like, help us, Obi-Wan. You're our last hope.
Help us, Obi-Wan.
So we'll see. This book actually is going to take us back to Riven where we came from. So we've done all the things we need to do here. And we have to go back and free Catherine from the prison.
That was a lot of work to get to that tree to not have to do much then there.
To have very little, yeah, I agree.
Was there something in the book that was going to help with the puzzle?
In which book?
The one that had all the letters and notes and all that stuff?
No, we got the information we needed. The only thing we needed out of that was that code for the device there. What we needed, and what we'll see we needed, was that trap book that Atris gave us. That, remember, was taken when we first showed up to Riven, right? One of the guys took it from us. We need that so when we interact, if we ever come across Gehn, we can use it to trap him. Because we have to. Gehn has the codes to release Catherine, so we're going to have to go see Gehn at some point. And that's what we're going to do now.
We're coming, Catherine.
So I know there's a couple of different ways we can do this. I think the most straightforward at this point is to take the tram back to Temple Island. We previously had explored, I think now 2 videos ago, we looked at the marble puzzle and figured out most of those. We had, again, if you were watching the video, I had put that up on screen, kind of the information we got. So we're going to go solve that puzzle. And as we talked about, Marcus, in that we know, I think, 3 of the 5, and we know a couple other pieces. And so it's just a little bit of guess and check to kind of find the right combinations, which luckily for us, we don't need to do because I know them. But if you were going through it, you've kind of pieced together 60 to 80% of that puzzle. And then there's only so many options. And really, it's just the colors. Like, we know the position that the marbles go in. It's just figuring out which color goes in which position. So let's see if we can get back there. Uh-oh. Looks like Gehn has something to say to us. Oh, nope. Maybe he's just watching us. I don't know if we saw before, if we remember these warks. The sacrifices kind of in front of them. We've talked about the warks having some kind of symbolic importance for the Rivenese. Here's the secret door. If we have done this correctly, yes, we can still get upstairs to the press. All right, and we knew, like I said, we knew 3 of the colors and the positions. We know all 5 positions, and so it's just a matter of guess and check with the last 2 colors of what they have to be. But luckily, we don't have to do that. I'm just going to plop them in to where we figured them out.
But literally, there's nothing in the last part of it requires a little bit of guess and check. There's no definite.
Yes.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, you can. If we want to go through, I think there's another step we could have done to narrow it down, so you're only guessing between 2 colors.
Mm-hmm.
But either way, there's at least one guess step, and guessing between 2 colors or 3 colors is kind of the same. And plus, we don't have to guess because I know the combination. Because there's 6 colored marbles and only 5 actual islands, is why you end up having to guess. There was that one light bulb that was burnt out. All right, so let's push the button. If we've done it correctly, the engine comes on. Which, good, now means... so that engine actually turns on the golden domes that we've seen throughout the islands. And again, it's a question of what's the fastest way to get to one of those golden domes. And I think just going back to Jungle Island is the fastest way. Okay, the door's open. Sometimes that door closes.
Tram ride.
Alright, and so then our last video, we unraveled the dome code, so we know how to unlock those domes. We just powered them up with the marbles. And we have our trap book for when we encounter Gehn, so it's all coming together now.
Yes. It's all coming together. We.
And then if we remember, let's see, the golden dome here is up at the top of the forest. There we go. We take the warg elevator. Up. Open this dome, so we'll go in. We'll put in the secret combination from last time, which we said was 3, 4, 10, 17, 19. 20, that's 19, 17. Now, one thing I should caution about this, in case you are following along, this code is randomized for each game. So when you start a new game, the dome code is randomized, so you do have to kind of figure out what that code is. A lot of the other pieces, I think almost all the other pieces, except for maybe the last code as well, are the same each time. This one gets randomized. Alright, so we're inside the dome. The marble has been powered on, so the linking book will actually take us somewhere. And this is the age. Again, when we were in Gehn's laboratory, this was 4 videos ago now. We read through one of Gehn's books where he kind of made a secret age where he's been set up a laboratory to experiment and try and get out because he's trapped in Riven. And he desperately wants to get back to Dunny. So let's link in here and see where we're at. And of course, it links into the middle of a cage because Gehn is not foolish enough to let us wander free. So we can't really reach a lot of things. We can see these books in front of us, and you'll notice there's 5 books. Each one has that grid on them that corresponds to the little grid that we did in Survey or Plateau Island. But unfortunately, these don't have any power right now. And so we can see all of them, and then this is the book that goes to Prison Island. Prison Island is the single square, so that's where Catherine is. We need to get this book powered up so we can get to Prison Island. In order to do that, we need to get out of this cage. And in order to get out of the cage, we're going to have to talk to the big bad guy. Are you ready, Marcus?
I'm ready.
Okay. He gets a little long-winded, so pay attention.
I apologize for the cage. I'm afraid this situation has often required of me a more primitive code of conduct than I might otherwise have chosen. I am Gehn. I assume you've heard of me. Yes. Well, I suspect you have acquired some false information of who I am now. Not that my son would have lied to you about me. No, not Atris. It's just that, well, I'm sure he believes me to still be the depraved father I once was. Yes. I even tried to kill him once. God, if I had accomplished that, who knows what I would have become. A great father indeed, who tries to murder his own son. Thankfully, he trapped me on age 5, a prison of my own creation. No books, no precious inks, no ages to link to, nothing but my own foolish ambitions. That was 30 years ago. 30 years, 30 lifetimes, what does it matter? No sentence could be too harsh for the man I was. But I have changed. To be sure, the deeds of my past can never be completely atoned for, but my mission was an honorable one. I'm sorry, this is all a bit awkward. It's been a long time since I've attempted to persuade anyone of my intentions. Most of the people here have already made their minds up about me one way or another. I myself do not trust the words of most men, so I don't expect you to believe me. In the end, though, you may discover that I do have more than mere words to offer. Atres's choice of punishment has been hard on the people of Riven, and many have suffered because of it. The island has been steadily decaying for years, but according to my most recent measurements, it appears that the Fifth Age has entered its final days. Unless the villagers can be relocated soon, the island will collapse entirely and everyone will perish. It has taken me a long time to do it, but it appears that finally I'll be able to make some substantial amends to my past transgressions, especially in, well, I'm afraid I've had some trouble with Catherine and the Moiety. In any society, there will always be a small percentage of the population with rebellious tendencies. Before Catherine appeared, the Moiety, as they call themselves, had been relatively harmless. I mean, the natives here are a fairly violent people by nature, but I'd almost come to accept their presence. It seemed inevitable under the circumstances. Upon Catherine's return, however, their violence intensified considerably. It seems she's become some sort of religious savior to them. And as far as I can tell, she's come to believe this herself. So I've had no alternative. I had to separate her from her people. I must admit, though, that my concerns were not entirely for her safety alone. The actions of Catherine and the Moiety have put my own life at risk on numerous occasions. Consequently, the lives of all the people here. Therefore, I must ask you to refrain from any attempt to free her, although I'm sure Atres desires it. Indeed, he must desire it with all his heart. But he is completely unaware of her recent state. Which brings me to the point of all of this. The linking book you brought with you. You're very fortunate to have recovered it. If I may. Thank you. Perhaps it would be best if you went through first. You may need some time to decide. That is reasonable. Until then, as a token of my good intentions, I will allow you free access to my linking books, crude though they may be, and to the rest of the Fifth Age. Please understand, there is nothing I want more than a chance to resolve matters between Atres and myself, especially in light of what has become of Catherine. But unless you are willing to demonstrate to me that you're intentions are honorable, I cannot risk it. The sanctuary I've been writing for the islanders is nearly complete. After all these years, it would be a shame if I were unable to finish it. The work I am doing is quite demanding. Please don't signal me unless you've decided to use the book. The switch will reset itself once you link from here.
And there he goes. So what did you think of his speech, Marcus?
Very cryptic, very resentful.
So do you know that he's Atris's father?
I did not remember that. That's why I was like, oh, crap.
I don't know if it's really revealed or just hinted at until this point when he talks about that. So it's interesting that, right, in Mist, Atris is having trouble with his sons. And in Riven, the sequel to Mist, he's having trouble with his father.
It's like the problem skip a generation.
It sounds like it, right? So we had that trap book. Gehn was, suspicious of it and said, well, why don't you go through it first to prove that it's, real? And unless we're willing to do that, we're kind of stuck here. But he did turn on his other books. So he did activate all the books for us, and we can do those. We could go to Prison Island and talk to Catherine. Unfortunately, we don't have the code to unlock her from the prison yet. So we're going to have to... So this is where, in this puzzle in particular, having played the first Mist game and understanding it helps you solve this kind of conundrum here.
Okay.
If you remember from in those books, Cirrus and Akinar, Atris's sons, were both trapped in a prison or a trap book of their own, right?
Right.
And we saw that they wanted us to link into there because what happens is when a person links into a trap book, the person in the trap book is released.
Okay.
So what we have to do and what's going to happen is we're going to go ahead and we're going to get Gehn in here. We're going to link into the trap book in which we would be trapped. But because Gehn is going to think that it's safe, he will follow us, locking himself in the trap book and releasing us back into his laboratory here.
Interesting.
So, yeah, it's another thing that is not quite obvious unless you remember the kind of mechanics of that. It looks like I can't call him. I have to link out and then back in. So let's... jump real quick. This is the dome underneath Crater Island. It doesn't really matter which one we're going to because we're just going out and back in. So we're out and now we're going back. So we can talk to Gehn and try and trick him. So we're back. Let's ring the bell and say, hey, we're ready to go into the book to prove that it's safe.
I'm relieved you've returned. I thought perhaps you had decided against it. Here.
So we'll link into this book. Here we're in the trap book now. We exchanged places with Gehns, which means we're now outside of the cell. Here. Clever of us.
It is awfully trusting.
Oh, you know it. Oh, this is a dead book. It doesn't go anywhere. I'm trying to think what we need here. Well, I mean, we wouldn't have gone willingly into a trap book, so obviously it wasn't a trap book. Okay, I think the code is down here for Catherine's cell. So this is like a little sink here. We get another little peek behind the curtain.
Tagamem, san botegan shem. Fasi.
Where are we at? Okay. And then looks like some angry-looking people. And a little bed here where he sleeps. And yeah, this is the device here that we need to pay close attention to. So it's gonna, I don't know if you heard it, but it's gonna have 5 sounds. And we have to figure out what those sounds are in the order of them. So this is another one. It's not obvious. We don't know why, unless we go to Prison Island and then we come back. Then we would maybe make that connection. But let's see. So it's like trill, trill. Clack, ding, trill. That's what we're going to call it. Trill, trill, clack, ding, trill.
I like it.
Let's see what's in this book. This is just some more of the ravings of Gehn. We can kind of get more backstory of how it talks about like the Great Wark and how he's controlling the population and how he captured Catherine and what the rebels have been up to. And so it kind of fills in all that backstory pieces from his journal rather than just what his story he told us was. We have that code that we need. We're going to go back up. We can't go out here because it's a hostile environment and we don't have the necessary precautions. We need, here we go. to release the gate so that we can get to Prison Island. And we'll go find Catherine.
We're coming, Catherine. Just hold on.
So, and here's the question for you, Marcus. It's 40 minutes in now. Do we want to call it a session here, or do we want to continue on and go find Catherine, or save that for a final day?
I mean, how much longer would it be to rescue Catherine?
We got to talk to Catherine. We got to go back. I don't recall if it takes 15 minutes or 30 minutes.
Oh, I was gonna say if it was more than like 5 or 10, then yeah, we probably should call it here.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So, all right, next time. Well, let's click through. Here we are. We're in the dome on Prison Island. Next time, to Catherine, and we'll take Catherine back to Atris, and hopefully we'll get our happily ever after. All right, thanks everyone for watching.
Like, comment, subscribe, do the hooky pookie in the comments. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.